Watch this.
It didn't surprise me at all. It is what it is, right?
You didn't think Canyon County's first ever Pride Festival would go off without some sort of controversy, did you? Based on reaction from the community and the city of Nampa, well, there's not much to be proud of, except the mayor is still taking pride in her stance. Months of campaigning coming down to a coin flip. Well, it only makes sense for bottom of the ticket races that seem to get some top ticket attention this year.
It happened just to fall my way.
Those odds have been tested in a handful of other elections, including one in Wilder more than 2 decades ago. Back then, it was a flip over who would sit on city council. It was one of those things that could have just flown under the radar. Local group reserves small section of Lakeview Park in Nampa for a few hours. Instead, it was the headline on KTVB story over the weekend. To be seen and celebrate Canyon County getting its first Pride Festival that sparked a lot of back and forth backlash online. When that story hit social media Sunday, nearly 3,000 people felt the need to comment on it. Like Allard Smith, who said, "We sure don't need that in our town. God loves all souls, but he hates the sin. He'll not abide with sin." Or Brian Collins, "We don't have parades for straights, do we? Why do we need a parade for Pride? This is not Idaho. This is Idaho, not California. Rainbow is a promise from God. Don't ruin it." Matthew Tobiasen wrote, "This is exactly what I was afraid of. This has Oregon, California, and Washington written all over it." And finally, Jared Florin, "Why is the city funding and wasting its resources on an opinion rather than funding to better and create a safer community and bring in development? Not what we need," he said. First of all, this Pride event isn't a parade. It's 3 hours covering a small section of a very large city park, like we mentioned. And this didn't come from Oregon, Washington, or California. It came from a local organizer who thought, 70,000 people attended Boise's Pride Festival in September, so there's certainly a market for it. And the city of Nampa, they aren't funding or putting any resources toward this opinion or this event, which is kind of why the city of Nampa felt the need to address that insinuation. City leaders saw the comments on the KTVB Facebook post, and they even got a few of their own into their office. So the mayor's office put out a statement yesterday to clear up some of the confusion. This was a reservation of a public park overseen by the city's Parks and Rec Department. Something anyone can do, and something everyone is entitled to do thanks to the right to assembly guaranteed by the First Amendment. And if that press release left it at that, well, that might have been enough. But there was another reason Nampa Mayor Debbie Kling felt the need she needed to put out a Pride Festival clarification.
For the city council, because we had a lot of negative comments that were coming in to our city council members, and just the public sentiment was not positive. One thing I have shared since I've been in office is that the city of Nampa, I've loved to say that we're the best of what America was, right? We're a community where neighbor helps neighbor. We love one another, we support one another, but we're also a community that is based on a foundation of faith in God and traditional family values. That's who we are as a community in Nampa. And so this is not necessarily representative of the majority of our citizens. All that said, one thing I love about our community, and that we need to continue to be, is supportive of one another. You know what? We're supposed to love one another. We should not be fighting and hateful against one another, no matter whether we agree or disagree.
Okay, so I guess a lot of people are asking, was it necessary for you to add that last paragraph?
The paragraph where Mayor Kling wrote, "While this event does not reflect the personal beliefs and convictions of myself, the Nampa City Council, and many living in Nampa who have already reached out to us requesting it be canceled, the city must recognize the protected First Amendment rights of those involved in this event."
I think so, because when I was elected as mayor, I was elected with the understanding of the citizens of here of what I stood for. And it is not my personal belief that I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. That's a God-given thing. So what they're expecting of me as mayor, and those are the questions that I get, have I shifted? Have I changed my opinion?
You could have said nothing. You could have just said the Constitution.
I could. The Constitution does allow it, but sometimes it doesn't matter what you say, it's going to get you in trouble. And so I don't want to be able to shirk back from what I believe in. You know what? It's so controversial.
Yeah.
And it grieves my heart that it's so controversial. And yes, I did speak my heart and what I believe, and that's because I was elected for that.
You don't think that that adds fuel to the fire?
It was not intended to. Let's put it that way. I never intended it to at all.
Okay, so that wasn't Mayor Kling's intention or what she expected to happen. But there's a lot to this event, according to the organizers. They expected and what they didn't expect.
So we weren't expecting an endorsement from the mayor. We also didn't expect it to be a statement that felt like it further targets our existence here in the community.
Okay, so you didn't expect the response from the city, but did you expect that response from the community?
Well, there's an overwhelming amount of support. More than there are negative comments, there's an outpouring of support. We've surpassed any fundraising goal we ever thought we would ever achieve, and rightfully so. Now, as we're spending a significant amount of our budget on security, private security, working with local agencies.
What we did hear from the mayor was, we all live together. We know that we have homosexual friends, LGBTQ members of the community, but nobody's out there like flaunting it.
Right.
So why can't we just keep going with the status quo is kind of like the idea. Like this idea of, do we need this to just coexist?
Yeah, I think that question is rhetorical because the statements from leadership that the folks that lead this city have made it clear that they don't believe we should exist. And to all the folks who question why we need a day in the park to be in community, it's because we live in communities that are discriminatory more often than not. So we just ask for one day to be in community, and we respect everyone's personal beliefs. If you don't believe in it, you don't think that we should have that day, then we just ask that you don't attend. If you'd like to attend, we welcome you. We just hope that you'll be peaceful.
A peaceful gathering is also what Mayor Kling hopes happens on June 9th from 1 to 4 in Lakeview Park for that afternoon for Canyon County's first ever Pride Festival. Could it be the first of many? Well, according to Mayor Kling, we'll see. By the way, nothing raises money like a well-timed controversy. You heard him say they raised a lot of money because of this. They wanted $3,000 on their GoFundMe. They've just passed $10,000 in fundraising. Well, they say ties are like kissing your sister, and in elections, ties are inevitable. Audits and recounts so often double check, but a straight-up tie can happen in elections. Depending on where it happens, there are different solutions to select a winner. Like, for example, in Idaho, we do a coin flip. And we did one of those this morning in Ada County, and Joe Paris was there to watch this. Well, not a real long event, it just happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what we expect, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd never been to one before, but yes, it's a coin flip. That's what they do, and that's how they decided the election. And it's not the first time this has happened in recent years, specifically in Ada County. They've had coin tosses in 2012, 2016. They actually had 2 that year, and in 2020 there was a coin toss. These were for precinct committee races, which we've talked about here on the 208. But today, another one in the race for precinct committee men, 1802, the election between Republicans Ryan Litzter and Thomas Jensen. They were tied at 28 votes apiece. So at 9 o'clock on the dot this morning, both candidates, they reported to the Ada County Elections Headquarters. Each took a piece of paper from a bowl to determine who was candidate heads and who was candidate tails.
One is heads and one is tails.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to open them up and tell me what they are.
Tails. Heads.
Okay, so whatever you're holding, if it lands on that heads up, right, whatever we can see on the coin is going to be the winner of this coin toss. It's a traditional quarter with heads on one side, and then the state of Idaho on the back with a peregrine falcon and an Idaho. That is tails.
Okay.
Make sense? Any confusion on that?
Nope.
You ready?
Sure.
Tails, heads. It is heads.
Wait. Okay, so it's heads.
Both
I
confirmed?
thought it was tails.
Okay, no, heads. So,
Cool.
Mr. Jensen,
Congratulations.
you're the new PC.
We met before.
So there you go. And something I was curious about driving back to work from the event, is a coin flip truly 50-50? To be clear, this is an internal question out of curiosity. I'm not insinuating that the coin flip was unfair, but I searched through some academic research on the topic, and sure enough, a group led by researchers at the University of Amsterdam, they tested the theory. In 2022 and 2023, the team there, they did 350,757 coin flips just to test this theory. So they wanted to decide, okay, is it always 50-50? And they looked at the concept of a coin landing on the same side it was flipped from. So heads in hand to heads on the flip result. That's for an example. So the team, they flipped and flipped and flipped, even doing a 12-hour straight exercise. And the research concluded that coins landed with the same side facing upward as before the toss 50.8% of the time. The team of coin flippers in the experiment were catching the coin in hand, which is a different variable to consider than what we just saw. But as you did see, the coin flip today, it hit the ground and was revealed. So I was curious, is there anything in Idaho law about how you have to do it? Can you flip it and catch it, put it on your wrist? Does it have to hit the ground? Let's discover this together. Idaho Code 34-1210, tie votes in county elections. In this case of a tie between the candidates in a primary election or general election, the interested candidates, they'll come to the county clerk within 2 days of the canvass, and the tie shall be determined by a toss of a coin. So in Idaho, the clerks can kind of do it however they see fit. And it begs the question, should there be rules preventing someone from catching the coin, or rules that prevent a candidate from looking at the coin before the toss? Because research shows there may be a slight advantage for calling the coin based on its starting position. Just a thought, Brian. I was very interested to find out that people had done any research on this at all. But as you saw my graphic, they did it over 350,000 times.
People have a lot of time on their hands.
Flipping awesome. Heads or tail, Brian?
What about Rochambeau? Why can't we just...
So you can do games of chance in other states. I was reading in New Mexico once, I think this is the Bush-Gore election. If it went down to an exact tie, there was a chance that an area, they were going to do like a hand of poker as a lot, as they call it.
Huh. All right.
You want to call this?
Sure. Tails never fails.
Tails never fails?
Wait, did it start that way?
Oh, it's heads.
It started on tails.
It's heads.
Yep. All right.
Okay. That's democracy at work.
It is. All right, one of the many coin toss elections that we had, or we've covered over the years, was in Wilder back in 2001. Back then, two city council members, their political futures, came down to just one question, as you've seen, heads or tails. Who's the lucky one? Well, that'd be former KTV reporter Tom Udaka, who tells us the story in today's 208.
Normally, it's voters casting ballots that determines the outcome of an election, but not always.
I ran for the city council and I got 39 votes.
I was running for city council. I got 39 votes.
Two candidates vying for one city council seat, each with 39 votes. So enter Idaho Code, which says in the case of a tie, the winner can be determined by the simple toss of a coin, either heads or tails.
It's just a 50-50 chance, like, you know, if you're going to win or not.
At the Wilder market, opinions on the coin toss election were as double-sided as a quarter itself.
Well, if that's the only way they can do it, sure, why not?
I think they should do a recount, or at least do a re-election on it and see what's going on instead of a flip of the coin. That's pretty silly.
Silly or not, a shiny quarter dug up from somewhere in the city attorney's car was about to determine the winner.
So I just said, well, I just let her call it first.
Our city clerk, Alice, she sat there and flipped the coin, and she goes, okay, call it. And I was just like, okay, tails. A little voice goes, tails. So I said tails.
And for the next 2 seconds, the election results literally hung in the air.
Seemed like it took forever to watch it hit the ground.
Well, actually, I kind of turned away. I didn't want to look.
When it hit the ground and we both looked, it was heads, and I was like, oh, relief.
I shook his hand. I said, hey, congratulations. Cool.
It was just luck. It was lucky, and I'm glad, you know, it happened just to fall my way.
So there you go. This wasn't the first time, or that wasn't the first time. Wilder enlisted the help of a coin to determine an election. Happened 2 years prior to that. In 1999, the race for mayor also wound up in a tie, and a coin toss decided the winner back then, too. Well, the outcome of Chad Daybell's triple murder trial is now in the hands of the jury. Jude Binkley has details on closing arguments today and more in today's 411.
Jurors are now deliberating after hearing closing arguments today. Prosecuting attorney Lindsay Blake argued Chad is the mastermind behind the crimes, not Lori and not Lori's brother Alex Cox, who is now dead.
Alex got the information from Lori and Chad. Lori got the information from Chad.
Defense attorney John Pryor pushed back and blamed Lori and Alex. He said Chad didn't know where the kids were until law enforcement found them dead on his property in June 2020.
What's the best place, the ideal place to bury bodies? The new husband set him up.
Jurors could come back with a verdict today or later this week. A judge dismissed the case against former Boise Junior High principal Christopher Ryan, who was accused of failing to report a sexual relationship between a school counselor and a student. Ryan was facing a felony charge of injury to a child. The prosecution failed to communicate evidence properly, which is the main reason the case was dropped. Now the charges can't be brought up again because the case was dismissed with prejudice. You can hear more details on the news at 6. Watch out, Ada County. Chip sealing starts this week. The Ada County Highway District is planning to chip seal nearly 440 miles of roadway in the next few months. It helps increase the life of pavement. Crews will work on an area spanning from Highway 55 to Black Creek Road and the Boise River north to the county line. Caldwell, you're not off the hook. Crews from the street department will begin chip sealing on Monday, but the city will start preparing roads this week. If you happen to find yourself on one of the lucky roads, make sure to drive 20 miles an hour, be careful around crews, and don't park. Crews will wrap up by June 28th. Twin Falls fisher Rick Wentworth caught Idaho Power's prize fish this year and swam away with $1,000. Every year, Idaho Power stocks the Snake River with tagged rainbow trout, and then anglers can then report the tag information back to Idaho Power. One lucky angler is the winner, and this year it was Wentworth with his fish from Bell Rapids. And that's the 411 on the 208. I'm Jude Binkley.
really great pictures from across the area today. Very different view that we're seeing today after all the storm activity yesterday. We have a little bit of clouds, but they are fair weather clouds instead of those storm clouds like we saw. So you can see things staying mainly dry over the Treasure Valley for a lot of the day today. And if we look now towards Bogus Basin instead of down from Bogus Basin, you can see again that sky looks really blue with those clouds there, and also 68 degrees in Boise right now. We do have some breezy conditions, so that's making it feel maybe a little bit less pleasant with the mild temperatures. But as we head into the evening tonight, things still staying on the nice side. So it's a great evening to go for a bike ride or an evening walk with temperatures in the 60s. Maybe you won't even break a sweat because the temperatures are a little on the cooler side. As we go into tomorrow, we warm up slightly, just a touch warmer than what we're seeing today, but you can see lots of sunshine there on the bottom of the screen. So overall, things staying pretty nice for the next few days. We still have some lingering wind, and that will be mainly for Magic Valley areas with gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tomorrow, through the next 48 hours, we're expecting the sunshine to stick around, so lots more opportunity for more of those blue skies, and also a warming trend with a significant jump in temperatures by Friday. So here's how that shapes up for Boise. You can see, again, starting off a slightly warmer for some places tomorrow. We warm up big time by Friday, almost by 10 degrees. We continue to warm up all the way through Saturday, so close to 85 degrees for in Saturday in Boise, well above average, so almost 10 degrees above average. So we're going below average to way above average. So things continue to change for us throughout your 7-day forecast, but it's nice that the warming temperatures will be through the weekend. So hopefully to enjoy some more of those outdoor activities. We cool down slightly on Sunday, and then we start to see more precipitation chances enter the picture with cooler temperatures. And we'll continue to track some of those chances for rain or possible more thunderstorms during that time frame.
All right, a lot of comments on the Canyon County Pride Festival coming up on June 9th, like this one from David in Boise County says the LGBTQ folks, if they were just accepted without question, then they wouldn't have a need for parade or possibly festivals. But as long as these quote unquote Christians and conservative politicians are determined to discriminate against them, well, they have to stand up for themselves and it's their right, says David. Yes, there are those with different views. It's not just for the Pride event coming up. It's all things these days. Sad that people can't just let things be. If you don't want to see them, well, just look away, or better yet, stay away. Judge, not least ye be judged. That one comes in from Bonnie, I believe. There sure is a lot of haters in Idaho. The LGBTQ community was just asking for a few hours in a park. It's not the end of the world. As far as the mayor, I think her comment was appropriate, said Scott, so he's kind of standing on both sides of the fence as well. Nampa's mayor and city council just sent the message that the LGBTQ people aren't really part of the community and that the city government doesn't represent all Nampons. Just the religious ones. Actually, I just put that up there because I wanted to say Nampons again, because I think it's what we should be calling people from Nampa. All right, like election voting in Wilder, perhaps determining the existence of Greater Idaho should come down to the flip of a coin. That would make it possibly all go away, but who knows what's going to happen with Greater Idaho. Still waiting to see how that advances. Next time there's a tie between candidates, they should have a good old-fashioned duel at 10 paces. Yeah, come to Idaho, lose an election, possibly lose your life. Seems like a good catchphrase. I don't know.